This video is going to show the Chosera, the Naniwa Chosera line of sharpening stones. The newer ones are called the professional stones. They are the exact same stone, except the professional stone is just slightly thinner than the Chosera stone. And other than that, there's been no change to them. The ones I have are the Choseras. Now, the first thing you might notice is something you don't see much, which is the round version. I got these from Dieter Schmid in Germany. I have only found them there. I've not found them, well, I've found them at their 3 different sites. I think they're in Sweden, Germany, and Great Britain, but it's all from Dieter Schmid that I found these. They do not make this 320 in any other, in the regular stones. They only make it in the round, and I really love this 320 for flattening backs. It cuts almost as quick as a diamond stone and leaves a much smoother finish. And you can see now this particular iron was left near a window and it got rained on, and so it has some rust spots, and I dressed it up on this, and you can see the scratch pattern it has a pronounced scratch pattern, but it's very smooth, very even, not a lot of stray deep scratches like you would get with a diamond stone. Now, that's a 320. What I want to show, first of all, well, first I want to address one thing. There's been a lot of talk on the forums about the Chosera stones getting hairline cracks in them. I've had some of these stones well over a year. I have never had that problem, but there is one thing you have to do. Don't let your stones dry flat like this. They need to dry evenly. I turn them up on end and let them dry like this. And in fact, this has been sitting here just while we were getting ready to do the video, and you can see that it's much more wet on the bottom than on the top. And if you put them on edge, they will dry evenly. And I've never had a problem with cracking or not even hairline cracks on them or crazing. What I like to do is take a dish rack that has the things to divide where you put the plates, and you can stick these in a dish rack, and that lets air get all around them. For these round stones, the round stone has an optional base, which I bought one to use, and I just switch the 2 stones. But they're so big and heavy that you don't even need the base. It'll stay by itself. But the base is good for drying because that lets it dry on the bottom, and that's very, very important with these Chosera stones, that they dry evenly. Now, what I wanted to show, there's been a lot of questions on forums, woodworking and knife forums, asking about, well, what's the real difference between like an 800 and 1,000, or 1,000 and a 2,000? So what I've done is I've taken some Veritas A2 steel blades, and I've done 1 blade on each grit. And for the finer grits, I started with the coarse grit and worked my way up. And so now you can see the scratch pattern more easily. A lot of times people will do knife videos with these stones, and they're trying to show you the minute difference in scratch patterns with the edge of a knife. This will show you better the scratch pattern on the Chosera stones. And my wife's going down filming here, looking at the edge, and I have these lined up in order up to the very finest. This is the 10,000 grit here, where you get that mirror polish. And what I would like to do is show hi, that's my daughter, 2-year-old Petra, and what I'd like to do is just show some of these. The 800 versus the 1,000 is something people are always asking about. Now, it's going to be very hard to see this difference on the camera. The only difference is a little bit deeper scratch with the 800, a little more matte finish that you can see. I can see it here. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. If I were to put a loop on it, and let me just real quick take the camera and see if I can go. There's your 800, and you can see some deeper scratches there, and then on your 1,000 those deeper scratches start to disappear. There are some, but you can see under this there's a much better finish. The 2,000 grit And one thing while I'm talking, the 2000 grit is a much more thirsty stone. I have to soak that one just a little longer than the others. Now you can see that that scratch pattern is very fine, and it's hard for me to do this and get a good focus too. Now you go to the 3000, and the 3000 is just getting to that mirror polish. You can't even see the scratches very well through here. So I'm going to go now and just show you side by side, let it focus, the 3000 versus the 5000, and immediately you can see that difference. Versus the 2000 to the 3 is a little closer jump. But now we go from the 5000 to the 10,000. This is the 10,000, this is the 5,000. And on camera you might not see it as well, but this is, let me let it focus here. This is a mirror finish. Pretty much. There's a little bit of scratch to it. And that has a little more scratch pattern than the 10K. And give it back to Amy. Now, I have in the past told people that these are splash and go stones, so to speak, where you don't need to soak them, and I want to say I was wrong. These do need a little bit of soaking after I've used them for a while. I've seen maybe 5 minutes soak, except just do it until when you run over it, you're going to see, and I'm going to show you on this 2000, that immediately when I try to go over this 2000, boom, it starts to dry, because this stone needs to soak a little bit longer. It's just a thirsty stone. This 1000 I wanted to show you, and we did a test video earlier and I had this clean. Let me just kind of clean, and this is not really what you want to do because you will get fibers in your stone, and that was a mistake, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to show you fairly clean stone. I'm going to take this and just go over it real quick, and you will see how quickly, boom, that's already taking metal off. And it's just a very fine stone. It gets a very nice even scratch pattern that's very easy to go to your next grit and get out. That's why I love these. The difference I find in these is it's just a feel that you get. There's a lot more feedback with the Choseras, and I also find that the scratch pattern you get is very even. You don't get a lot of stray, deep scratches like you get with some other stones. But I want to be clear, I mean, find the stones that you like to use, and that's fine. Shaptons are very good. I even have a set of Nortons that I let my students use now. That's what I started out with, and they're good. But the thing I like about the Choseras is just they have a very consistently even scratch. They have a very good feel to them. And again, I just want to say, make sure you dry them up on edge like this. Let them dry completely all around. Even better, put them on a drying rack like a dish rack so that they can dry through and through. And I have never ever had any crazing or cracking on these. You will notice when they dry, they tend to get kind of a white powder. That's because this is a magnesium-based stone. The magnesium, the way it fractures and breaks off, it tends to break off in a very even fashion, and that's why it's preferred. And just a little bit about the Nagaras. This is the Nagara that comes with the Choseras. I do not like it, and I will show you why. Let me use it on a different color stone. We'll use it on the 600 because it's easier to see. The Nagara is so soft that boom, the Nagara is coming off rather than cutting into the 600. I'm getting the brown off the Nagara. So I've got these, I don't know what brand they are, I'm sorry, but I got them on eBay. This is 1000 grit. Like it a little better. It's still, actually that one's soft too, but it's getting a little more blue and a little less of the brown off of there. For my finer stones, I like to use a natural naga stone. That's a natural black, shiny. This is probably a 8,000 or more grit, and I like to use it to bring up the slurry on my finer stones. My hands are a little contaminated, that's where this brown's coming from. But you can see it's getting a slurry there. What I did, this is a guy had broken a 10K stone, so I cut a piece off and I was going to use it for a naga for the 10K. And unfortunately though, I find that it's so sticky that it doesn't want to slide very good. But this way I'm getting a perfect 10K slurry when I use this stone. Now that's an expensive way to do it. I just happened to get lucky and find a guy that had a broken one. If you ever drop a stone and break it, cut it off, make a naga stone out of it. I do flatten these on diamond stones, the DMT Diasharp. Somebody asked me about these rounds. Can you flatten it with the DMT? I do, and I just take it, and I'm not going to do it here because it's dry and I don't want to ruin it. But I take it and I rub it back and forth like that, and it works fine. But also what I found was, I found this disc that's made for lapidary work, and they sell diamond grits that you can stick to this, and then boom, now you have a flattening plate for the round stone. That's an idea if you want to get these. I highly recommend these round ones, and they're going fast. I don't think they're making them anymore, so go to Dieter Schmid and see if they have them. I'm not affiliated with Dieter Schmid, but that's the only place I've found them. It is so much easier to flatten the back of a large iron by just doing that, or working a wide blade. You can work it all over the stone and not stay in one spot. Like when you're here, you have to just go back and forth. So I really like these. So that's the Chosera line of stones. This is everything that they make. As you see, this round one, if I had the rectangular one, it would be here between the 800 and 2000. You got the 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, and only in the round they make the 320. And for those that want to know my thoughts, between the 800 and 1,000, it's really hard to pick a favorite between the two. I don't think, I think I would go with the 1,000 because I like the way it cuts. Most people do 400 to 1,000 to 3 to 5. But I find this 2,000 is really nice for an in-between. And one last thing, I don't want to make the video too long, but those of you that say you can skip grits and go from a 1,000 to a 5,000, yes, you can do that. However, you're going to spend a long time trying to work out those 1,000 grit scratches on a 5,000 stone. And this 5,000 is kind of sticky. And by the way, go to Tools from Japan and get their stainless steel stone holder. I absolutely love it. And I put this through heck and it's never rusted on me. It's a very quality stainless steel. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm going to do a real quick pass on the 5,000, jumping from the 1,000. And sure, you can do it, but you still have some of that 1,000 scratch pattern compared to the one that I worked all the way up through the grits to 5,000. I've got a much more mirror finish. Now if I were to sit here for 20 minutes, I could do that. I could work these 1,000 grit out, but really from 1,000 to a 5 is too much jump. You want at least the 3,000 in between. And it all comes down to what your budget is. It's really, really nice to have this 2,000. With these, I can just real quick go from one stone to the next, to the next, to the next, and it goes a lot faster than if I try to go from the 1,000 to the 3 without the 2,000. So that's my take on skipping grits. You can do it. It's just that you're going to spend a lot longer on your more expensive stone, and you're going to wear your more expensive 5,000 grit stone out quicker than if you go to the 2,000, then the 3,000, and work your way up and get those scratches out in graduated steps. That's the Chosera line of stones. Thank you very much. For those of you that subscribe and haven't seen me for a while, we bought an old home and completely have been restoring it for the last year and a half. And we had a daughter, this is our 2-year-old daughter, Petra. So I've been very busy. So thank you very much. Ask any questions and I'll try to answer.